Hey everybody, how's it going? My name is Will and welcome to Copper Jacket TV. Hopefully everybody out there is doing well. So Duncan v. Bonta is turning out to be one of the most nerve-wracking mag-ban cases on the planet right now. Not just because it could have a dramatic impact on mag bans nationwide, possibly overturning every single ban across this country, but because so many people's rights and personal property hang in the balance. And with the Supreme Court's record on taking 2A cases being horrible, it really has people biting their fingernails every single time they make a move. Well, yesterday, there was an unexpected move by the Supreme Court in Duncan, one that just kind of threw everything up in the air. So let's go ahead and talk about what's going on here and what just happened with Duncan at SCOTUS. Now, real quick, if you enjoy content that advocates for your constitutional rights, make sure you smash that thumbs up button. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to subscribe. That's one of the best ways you could support channels like this and content like this and allow it to get out to more people. And trust me, it's working. We're getting more and more people to our side every single day. And it's thanks to the actions of people like you. So with that being said, let's get to it. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about what's going on here, and I want to address something real quick. So I've seen some naysayers, especially on Twitter, say that the Supreme Court shouldn't take this case. They should take a hardware case first before any accessory cases, that we shouldn't let emotion get involved, and it's all about strategy. I think it's easy to say stuff like that when you live in a state that values your rights and won't throw you behind bars because you managed to get an 11th round in a magazine. If your strategy involves advocating for the court to pass on this case, which would see millions of people become criminals virtually overnight, I don't want any part of that strategy. While the Supreme Court may only take a fraction of the cases that are presented to it each year, I'm sure they have the bandwidth to take both a hardware and an accessory case in the same year. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about what just happened. So you might remember just last week, I excitedly made a video letting everybody know that we finally got our first conference date in Duncan. The case was scheduled for conference on November 21st, so right around the corner. Conference is when all of the Supreme Court justices convene to determine what they're going to do with the cases scheduled for that day. Are they going to accept them? Are they going to deny them? And we had waited a long time to hear that news on Duncan because this case was petitioned to the Supreme Court when they were still on break back in August. They didn't get back in session until October. So again, I was excited knowing that they didn't just deny it outright, they sent it to conference. Well, I check on this case daily. I refresh the page to see if anything new pops up. And what do you know? I was laying in bed last night. I checked before going to sleep, and the scheduled conference date is now gone. It now says rescheduled. No additional text, no additional information, no additional dates, just rescheduled. Now, I'm not sure if y'all remember, but the same thing happened with both Snope and Ocean State during the Supreme Court's last term. After being rescheduled, they eventually both reappeared. With Snope, I think it took something like 3 weeks, but they were eventually both conferenced again, and I think we all remember, the nightmare of that one. They both ended up getting denied. Now, I'm not sure what's going on this time. I mean, it could simply be a scheduling issue. Maybe they wanted to be conferenced with other cases that are similar, like Gators, which is also a mag ban case, or maybe they just want to push it into December or into next year. As of right now, unless you're in the room when this stuff happens, it's all just a guess. But the one thing that we do know for sure is that it's no longer going to be conferenced on the 21st like we were all hoping. It's now in limbo until it isn't. Now, I'm hoping that a new conference date appears for this year because the longer they stretch this out, the longer that we have to wait for a final decision in the end. But you know what really bothers me here? It bothers me that our rights are so clearly laid out, and here we are waiting for a court to determine the fate of millions of Americans. Like I usually say, it shouldn't have even gotten to this point. But the lower courts are filled with activist judges, and that's kind of where we are in this country right now. So anyway, I wanted to let you all know about that, and I wanted to keep you updated. If you support content like this, please consider subscribing and hitting that thumbs up button. And if you want to be alerted to the latest news in this case and other news, hit that alarm bell and turn on notifications. Thanks so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope you all have a great day.